Now that we know how ApexTrack finds apices, the next natural step is finding peaks boundaries. Currently, I'm editing my integration method and I set my liftoff and touchdown thresholds to 100%. With these settings, the boundary is stopped at so-called inflection points. These are the points where the slopes are the biggest. Let's draw a baseline here. We'll call it inflection baseline. The angle between the inflection baseline and the tangent line at this point will determine how far we're going to descend to find the peak boundary. Current liftoff threshold is set to 1, which means when the tangent equals the angle you currently see, we stop right there. That's going to be our boundary, right at the inflection point. Once we change it to, let's say, 0.5, we'll descend further till the tangent equals half of the angle at the inflection point. We can lower the threshold even more till 0.2, and the liftoff point of the peak will descend even further. And if we set the threshold to 0, we won't stop until the tangent is parallel to the x-axis. By the same token, touchdown threshold will determine the right boundary of the peak. Typical values for these thresholds is less than 1%, maybe even 0, but look at the chromatogram below. It has a baseline drift. This makes the inflection baseline of peaks to be tilted, resulting in a smaller angle at the inflection point, which in turn means that smaller tangent angles are acceptable and the ApexTrack will go further left. So we'll have to choose a higher threshold to end the peak sooner. Additionally, the baseline itself has a non-zero tangent, so ApexTrack will go further still till it meets another peak. All in all, it means that for this kind of chromatograms, we'll have to raise the threshold way higher than usual. Skewed peaks will also require the thresholds to be raised from one of the sides. This uncovers one of the downsides of ApexTrack. If you have two peaks with very different profiles, for instance, one is tailing and the other one is fronting, or one is drifting with the baseline and the other one is not, there's no way the thresholds will satisfy both of them equally. This concludes the liftoff and touchdown discussion. I'll see you in the next video where we'll cover how ApexTrack determines the baseline.